Hello, Chris.
Hi Sam, you all right?
I'm very well, thanks. Despite being in quarantine. How are you?
I'm good, the same. Still feels
Yeah,
very surreal, but yeah.
you're in London, right?
Yeah, good old New Cross, which is actually quite sunny at the moment, which
Oh,
is quite
really?
nice.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the sun on your face. Temptation to go outside and drink. Right. So yeah, I'm just going to ask you a series of questions. So let's just get straight to it, shall we?
So I grew up in a small village in Kent called Merryworth, which was very rural, lots of trees and horses and farms and stuff. And it was very lovely, but it was a bit quiet for me, so I didn't stay there long. And moved to London when I was about 20, I think it was. Yeah, so I was there for the first 20 years of my life, but too much countryside. I kind of miss it now, though. I must admit, it'd be a lot nicer than New
Yeah,
Cross at the moment. Yeah.
you're free to roam now. They're kind of, oh, I told you, Chris, not to leave.
Exactly. Yeah.
Big smoke.
So I got quite a few things to do actually. I'm quite into my film and TV,
Oh,
so do quite often, sit and watch a film or a TV show. But I'm also into a hobby called Warhammer, which takes up most of my time, and I
right.
paint tiny toy soldiers a lot. Yeah.
What we're talking here, I mean, how much have you invested? Because you can, it's a big,
Um,
isn't
it
it?
it's in the tens of thousands. It's a
You're
lot of money.
joking.
It's not no, it's not a cheap hobby. I probably could have bought a house by now. Yeah, I have a very extensive collection, and I probably would be painting non-stop for the next 20, 30 years and still wouldn't finish. And yeah, it's like an addiction. It's probably would be cheaper
Wow.
to have a drug habit. Yeah.
I didn't think this interview was going to be like staging an intervention.
Yeah.
My Lord.
Yeah.
Gosh. So that's been, how many years have you been sort of collecting?
It'll be 32 years now, so quite a long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh. That's a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I think it's probably different for everybody. I suppose the main thing that's been keeping me going is trying to make it as much like being at work as possible, if that makes sense. So getting up at the same time, having breakfast at the same time, trying to work similar hours, not working the same hours though, because I don't think you can sit and do a straight 8-hour day like you can when you're at work. But to try and kind of at least get dressed, have a shave, come down as if I was going to work. I think if you start to kind of just treat it as if you're at home, it's it starts to kind of feel a bit weird. So I think just try and keep to a routine. Make sure you're not working, late hours. If you do work late hours in the evenings, take them back the following day. But just to kind of, yeah, just try and be as normal as possible in these really weird, abnormal times at the moment.
Yeah. How are you coping with your quarantine weight, if I may ask? Because I've definitely put on a few pounds.
Oh God, I've put on loads. I haven't stopped eating. I mean,
Really?
that's one thing. I'm doing a lot of my work in the kitchen because it's got the biggest table in the house, and
Right.
that's quite fatal. I think I need to really move the laptop into the living
Yeah,
room
I would advise.
and
Yeah.
padlock all the cupboards. Yeah, eating a lot of bread and a lot of biscuits. It's not good.
I know.
Um,
It's
yeah.
not. I was speaking to Catherine about this, and she said that she for her commute she like does a walk instead. So that time when she would take a commute from her home to work, she would walk or do some sort of exercise or do something to fill that in that's not work related. I don't know whether you do that or what
I
would you
I
do?
don't, but actually I think that's a really good idea. And I potentially could do that. I think that is a good plan. And maybe do the same in the evening. Yeah, just sort of like
Yeah,
a half-hour walk in the morning, half-hour walk in the evening. So that's a good idea, actually. Yeah,
yeah, because
my
I think.
commute at the moment is one flight of stairs, so it's
Oh, really?
yeah, it's kind of been a bit of a yeah. I mean, I've been there a while. I had a lot of retail experience before I came to SGDP. which is kind of customer service. So when I first started at SGDP on reception, that was kind of very similar role. The roles developed and changed quite a lot since then, but a lot of the stuff I used to in previous jobs has helped out with that. I used to do quite a bit of health and safety and stuff in my previous jobs, but I think really the main thing is just to work with other people and to realize that other people kind of can help on a day-to-day basis. And I think most of my career since I left school has actually just been working with other people, finding out what they do, how they can help me and how I can help them, and just do that really. I suppose that's the same in any walk of life really, I suppose, and just to try and collaborate and cooperate as much as possible, and just to be nice gets you further in places. Just be friendly and happy and cheery, and that's been the same in all my jobs, I think, actually. Just dealing with people, you get a lot further when you're nice to people and when everyone's happy. But yeah, I mean, weirdly, the way I got the job at the SGDP was that my my current housemate, who I was my girlfriend at the time, was the receptionist before me. And it feels like a bit of nepotism, but she was leaving to go off to go back and work in mental health, and said, "Oh, there's a job you might like. It's pretty easy going." And I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." And I've been there now, 16 years. It was 16 years in March, actually. Yeah, so
Wow.
it was only going to be a short-term thing. I was like, "Oh, I'll stay for a year." Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. Yeah.
But it is a nice place to work. I do really enjoy the SGDP. It's a lovely place to work. Apart from there are issues. There are some issues with the building itself, but that's one of those things. That's buildings in general. But the people are lovely, and and it is a very nice working environment. So, I suppose it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think there's always somebody that will know something that you don't, and I think that kind of has served me well. So in terms of knowing your own limitations, you're not going to know everything, but also finding those people that can help when you need them, and to kind of just realize that everybody in any whatever sort of stage of their career at will always have something that they're really good at, and finding those people. And that's not just in my work life, in my home life as well, in my hobby life. There's always people I can learn from. And I suppose that thing of like, just basically saying to yourself, you don't know everything, and respect other people and find out what they know. I also think always try and do things on your own terms as well. Try and just stick to what you know and do it the way you know. Don't be afraid to learn new things, but don't try and sort of push yourself too hard in areas that you're really not comfortable with, unless you've got somebody there to give you a bit of backup and support, I think. I think the most recent one, Bernard and myself went back to school. We both studied something called NEBOSH, which is a health and safety qualification. And we both went to college for 2 weeks, which was the weirdest thing, because I hadn't been in education probably for about 25 years since then. And I'm glad that there was 2 of us that went, but we had exams. I haven't done exams since I was 16.
Wow. Gosh.
And had to learn to write again, because I'm not used to writing. And to write a lot in the space of 2 hours. So I was really, really pleased that we did that. And we both passed. We both got our qualifications, and that was really good. I don't know if I'd do it again. There is an opportunity to go back and do more. There's a few more qualifications you can get, but that'll do for now, I think, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, gosh. I would have come out in a cold sweat if, like, sitting an exam. I don't think I've recovered since.
It was the most horrific thing I think I've ever done. I think it was worse than school. We were told to revise for no more than 1 hour an evening, and I think we were both revising for like 5 hours a night, and still being told off the next day by a very shouty teacher. Why didn't we told you this yesterday? Why don't you remember? And we were like, well, because we're really old and we can't remember these things anymore. But we both passed. I think it was good. I know a few other people that have done it as well had similar experiences. But I probably wouldn't do it in a hurry. But I'm quite proud that I did it.
Yeah, definitely off the bucket list. What's on the 4th floor, Chris?
That's where the bar is. No, it's not really. I wish we did have a bar up there. No, when the building was built, we only had planning permission for a certain number of floors. We couldn't go above 4 floors, which is why we had to dig down and put the basement in the lower level. And normally in a building of our size, all of like the equipment, the machinery, like what they call plant machinery, so the boilers, all of the kind of air handling systems, would normally be in a building's basement. But because we had the labs down there, we had to put them on the roof. So the 4th floor effectively is huge air handling units, just banks and banks of them. It's all very sci-fi. And then a boiler room, which is ridiculously hot. If we wanted to open a sauna at the SGDP, we could just let you all go and sit in the boiler room for 20 minutes. And lots of pigeons. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, loads of pigeons. They're not supposed to be there, but they nature finds a way. They always manage to find a way in. So yeah. But it's not very exciting.
I didn't think you were going to be quoting Jurassic Park.
Oh, absolutely. Try and get Jurassic Park in whenever I can. Yeah. One of the things we'd like to do that's been proposed, which we're still trying to push forward, is to have some beehives on the roof. Actually,
that's great.
So we're still looking at that. That's not officially confirmed yet, but it's something we're looking at. I think they want to do the same in the main IOP building as well, and then we can.
When you were young, what did you want to be when you were older?
It's quite an embarrassing one, actually. I think probably like any small boy that grew up in the 70s when Star Wars was a big thing, I was obsessed with becoming an astronaut. But for quite some time, that one, I didn't grow out of that one. And I didn't really understand exactly what an astronaut was at the time. I don't think. I thought they just flew spaceships into space and realized it had to be like massive science people. But that then developed into wanting to be a pilot, to the point where I actually joined RAF cadets and was in the RAF cadets for quite a while. But sadly, because of my eyesight, which is terrible, believe it or not, that dream was shattered. So I then wanted to become a vet, which sadly didn't happen, just through life circumstances. But yeah, it would have been a vet or a pilot or an astronaut. Not quite where I am now, but
I could not have any money on that.
Yeah.
How bad is your eyesight? I mean, are we talking?
I have to get my lenses for my glasses specially imported from Germany. That's how bad they are. So they don't look that thick. They're very expensive. But yeah, I'm -8 in both eyes, which is
wow,
is quite strong. So
legally blind. What's that?
I'm not sure. I think I'm just on the cusp of maybe being classed as partially sighted. But if I'm not wearing my glasses or contact lenses, you're just a pink blob, really. Wouldn't better tell you who you were.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so my eyesight's pretty bad, and yeah, so that kind of put the mockers on that career idea, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm not unhappy that I'm neither of those things now. I think made me look at different directions and travel in different paths, and quite happy with where I ended up. So.
Do you think you've made your eyesight worse by painting the Warhammer figurines?
Yeah, I don't think it's helped.
I don't think, Justin Bieber is one guilty pleasure of yours. What other guilty pleasures do you have?
Oh God, I like to watch some really terrible telly. Actually, I used to watch a lot of Hollyoaks. I've got out of that one now, thankfully.
Really?
Yeah, just you wouldn't think it, but they had serial killers and everything on Hollyoaks. It was amazing. I watch a lot of Heart to Heart and Murder She Wrote at the moment. It seems to be lockdown TV, and it's amazing because the 70s were just bonkers, weren't they? Really. I suppose that I suppose Warhammer is probably my most guilty pleasure, but bad TV is the other one. I don't really listen to bad music. I draw the line there. I'm quite strict on my music. But bad TV I could sit and watch all day. Actually, Bake Off as well. I love Bake Off. I can't bake, but I like watching Bake Off. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. I didn't expect that either. Columbo. My grandmother had a huge obsession with Columbo. He was the man.
Columbo's great. I think we've seen all the Columbos though, because they didn't make that many actually, because they were quite long. But there seems to be an infinite supply of Heart to Heart and Murder She Wrote on TV at the moment. So yeah.
I think she's still knocking around, isn't she, Angela Lansbury?
She is. Yeah, I think she was going to be in Game of Thrones, wasn't she? But she didn't do it. But that would have been amazing, I think, if she had been.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you have any hobbies? besides War?
Yeah, it is. It is. Besides Warhammer, no, that one takes up all my time. I think
Okay.
actually, yeah, that's pretty much all my free time goes on that.
Okay. Well, Chris, I've exhausted all of my questions, and thank you for being a wonderful guest on Quarantine with.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
I do wish you all the best, and do stay safe and stay well. And I'll see you hopefully very soon in person.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Okay.
Sam.